So, generally speaking, houses that are over, let's say, 30 and definitely over 40 years old are going to be likely to have some structural issues. They're not really built to last in Japan.
Okay.
So we can definitely we will recommend to conduct a structural inspection before you purchase anything if it's older than 30 years of age. But just bear
Okay.
in mind that every structural inspection will cost somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 US dollars. So you don't want to, if you look at houses that are too old, it's very likely that you'll have to pay for a few of these inspections before you land on one that doesn't have major issues.
Okay.
So, if at all possible within your budget, I would recommend to aim for as young as you can. That's 1979. That's going on 50 soon. That's getting a little bit too old for
Mhm.
comfort, I would say, for Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi there, folks, and welcome back to Nippon Trading International's Japan Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Ziv Nakajima again, and this podcast is brought to you, among others, by Emil Gorgies of realestate.jp. He's a Tokyo real estate agent who specializes in serving international or mixed nationality families who are looking for the perfect family home. So Emil's an Australian. He's been living here in Japan for over 2 decades now, and for about half of that time, he's been buying, selling, and managing real estate properties in Tokyo on behalf of his own family and a great many happy clients. And he also acts as a mortgage broker on behalf of his clients. So he's got dedicated loan officers in many of the Japanese mega banks. And if you're a regular listener of the podcast, you probably already know him from our JREP, the Japan Real Estate Experts panel sessions, which means that you're already aware of the fact that the man is an absolute fountain of wisdom on all things related to real estate in Japan, and in particular to family homes, the greater Tokyo metropolitan area, and mortgages. And most importantly, he's incredibly generous with his time and advice, which he's more than happy to provide at no cost or commitment to anyone asking. So if you've been thinking about buying your home in Tokyo, but you've been sitting on the fence for a while, or you just want to have a chat in English with a real expert, drop him a line on sales@realestate.jp. Hit him up today and start exploring your options. So, as always, before we get started, just a quick reminder that we're probably days away from the launch of our summit page for the 18th and 19th April Japan Real Estate Summit in Tokyo, Japan, and online. We've just signed up our latest sponsors, Terra IQ. They're an exciting new AI investment portfolio analysis tool that many of our listeners, in particular Japanese real estate professionals, might find very useful. So they'll be in our sponsor display area at the summit if you want to have an in-person chat at the event, or you can hop over to the website. It's going to be in this episode's show notes. Terra IQ is joining a long list of fantastic speakers, sponsors, and workshop runners that are going to make this event one of the best sessions we've ever had, I think. Real Estate JP, Innovations.com, Arc Reform, Tokyo Family Stays, Akiya Hub, Shiki Properties, Mailmate, Axolotl Capital, and ourselves, of course, at Nippon Tradings. And I think between the lot of us, our industry experts group covers everything, really, related to the industry in Japan, from investments, financing, Akiya's short-term stays, hospitality properties, the ins and outs of hotel segment anywhere in Japan from Okinawa to Hokkaido. And more importantly, the biggest and friendliest Japan real estate property enthusiasts, professionals, buyers, sellers, and operators community that you'll find in the English language anywhere in the country. So do not miss event, and you can hop over to our website, nippontradings.com, or to summit.realestate.jp to secure your in-person or streaming tickets for a substantial discount if you do it in the next week or so only. So if you already know you'll be available to attend, I'd pause this podcast and go pre-register for your discounted tickets right now. All right, so for today's episode, triple treat this time around, 3 calls, 2 videos, 1 audio with 3 different holiday home buyers. This first one is with a gentleman who's already purchased his property and he needs management services. So we break down the list of services he'd normally need as an absentee property owner who's only here a couple of times a year. What are the viable solutions? So we obviously talk about Mailmate, our own services at Nippon Bridge, my other company, which is now handling holiday homes management for many of you out there. How it all works, how much everything costs, what the onboarding process looks like, and how one can get started. So have a listen, and we'll be right back with the second and third call right after this. Okay, so I read through your email thread there. You basically are looking for management, meaning you've already
purchased. Is that right?
We have purchased the property. We've been there. We have the electric and water established. We
Okay.
left before we got the first invoice, so we know it's probably sitting in the mailbox waiting to be paid, and we need help, yeah, getting the bank account, paying it, whatever.
Well, you can't get a bank account if you're not resident.
No, that's why, yep, it's exactly why we started looking for help.
Yeah. Well, if it's only bills payment, I'd say probably MailMate is the best company to go with that. They'll be receiving and scanning and paying your mail, your statements for you. But you've mentioned you also need somebody to look at the property, and I'm assuming if you're not there every other month at least, you probably want somebody doing some airing and light vacuuming as well to avoid the mold and the humidity killing your interior, right? That's a big issue in Japan.
Yep.
So if you need anything more physical like that, then we can probably combine both for you, meaning bills payments and the more physical stuff.
I mean, that would be great. That was what we wanted to talk about then, Ziv. Yeah, so the bills payment was our first, like, kind of immediate concern. Secondary concern is that it's split between my brother's family and my family, and we'll be over between the two of us probably 3 or 4 times a year, and then staying for, a good few weeks. But we are concerned about humidity during the wet season, snow during, the winter
Snow clearing is
season.
a thing, yeah. Do you also
Yeah.
have a garden backyard that needs maintenance?
No, not yet. They had a garden, and then when they before we got there, after they sold the house to us, they kind of cleared it. So it's a bit of a it's a bit of a
Bare at the
barren
moment.
wasteland
Okay,
right now.
okay.
Yeah, I've got to do some work on it once I get back over again to plant something nice, but not yet. But
Make sure
that's
it's low maintenance because if you're not there, that can cost a good few $100 a month to maintain.
okay. Yep. But no, that would be great if you did airing, cleaning, checking on the property, and then paying the bills. We'd love that.
We can. So let me. I'll just share. I mean, I'll send you the file as well, but I'll just share on the screen for now our management plans, just so we can go over it together. Give me a sec. Let me know when you're seeing my screen.
There we go. Yep, I got it.
Okay. So I'll run through the prices with you in a minute, but just to give you an idea first of what's going to be included in there. So the fees that we're going to be discussing in a second are our fees for managing all of the third parties involved. So obviously, utility companies will charge whatever the bill is, cleaning companies will charge, gardeners will charge. I mean, every third party will charge whatever they charge. We're just charging
Right.
for our fees handling it all.
Right.
Um, and we always need, because we'll be signing up for automatic deductions from our bank accounts to anywhere where you cannot use a credit card. We will need funds held here at any given point in time to cover for upcoming costs that will be deducted automatically from our accounts, right? So
Yep.
just bear in mind there needs to be a retainer, and we'll provide you with an annual statement, itemized annual statement showing you what all of the expenses are and telling you when it's time to top up again.
Okay.
Okay, all the prices in here are inclusive of consumption tax. Anything that's not in the list that I'll go with you in a moment, like the non-routine stuff, if you want us to organize special cleaning or deliveries or furniture assembly, whatever the case may be, we just charge by the hour at 4,400 yen per hour. Okay.
Hmm.
And things take time to organize, including and especially the first time connection to utilities and so forth. So we do need at least a month ahead of anything happening. Okay.
So as if
Um,
we've got it established, I think Ziv, at this point we're probably dealing with late fees more than anything else. So we'd need your help just getting things
But we'll
paid and
need
resolved.
to then, yeah, but we'll need to contact them and have
Contact
them
them, but
start sending the
I
invoices
got
to
you.
us instead of
I
you.
got
I
you.
mean,
Yep.
it's a standard setup, whether it was connected under your name or the seller's name.
I got you. I got you.
Yeah. Um, we can't obviously guarantee performance by any third party that we put in place, but we'll of course aim to amend anything that they haven't done properly or replace them if we need to. We do try to respond as quickly as we can to any requests, but there is a first come, unless it's an emergency, there is a first come, first served queue in there. So please bear in mind that it does take us often time to get back to you. We do have a platinum service package that gives you priority and WhatsApp connectivity with our staffers if you need to Some of our customers prefer to go with that, and that also gives you 4 monthly hours to pick our brains or ask us to do stuff regardless of the routine. So that's an option as well. But otherwise, it's first come, first served basis. Um, if we've made an appointment for you with a third parties for whatever reason, cleaning or somebody to attend to fix something while you're there, we can accommodate up to one rescheduling if anything happens, but beyond that, we will have to charge by the hour again if there's a second or third rescheduling and so forth. Depending on where the property is and what's available, we'll always try to give you at least two options to every service provider that you can sign up with. Electricity, for example, is not going to be that many options, but internet, we might
Right.
have one or two or three options. But beyond those two options, if you're not happy with those and you want to further research alternative options, then again, we charge by the hour. And we need two sets of keys, one at the property for contractors to access with a lockbox, and one in the office for emergency and backup.
So we only got two keys. If I sent you one, are you able to duplicate those and then have the keys for on hand for yourselves?
Yes, so we're not going to charge for our time to make copies to make sure that we have two keys, those two sets that we need. We do charge just whatever it costs to actually make a copy.
Make the key, right? Sure.
Yeah, to make the key. Okay, so the bronze plan is basically the basics. Again, if you only need the utilities and the internet and the monthly and the annual property taxes paid, then MailMate are probably going to be about the same price, I think. So
Okay.
for us to handle all of the basics, we charge it's about 106,000 yen for setup and then 8,800 yen a month, which is basically 2 hours of work every month.
Okay.
If you also need the cleaning and airing done, usually once a month or once every 2 months, depending on what the companies in that area can offer, that setup goes up to 165,000 yen, and we add one more monthly hour to the hours billed, right?
Okay.
And if you also need the gardening and cleaning, then setup cost goes up to about 220,000 yen, and we add another hour to the monthly billing. Okay, so somewhere between 2 to 4 hours monthly is what we'll charge, depending on which plan you're going for. And if you do think that you need the extra care and you want to be able to pick our brain and ask us to do other stuff, then we've got the platinum add-on there, which is another 3 hours for which you're going to get 4 hours of service additionally on top every month if you need it.
I think we're somewhere between gold, bronze, and silver, because we know we need all the help with the billing and utilities.
Yep.
The question I think I'm going to run to my brother is if we want the help with the cleaning as well, and I think we probably do.
Yep.
So I will have that discussion with him.
Let
Both
me
of
just
those, do you
reply
want?
to your last email with that attached, so you'll have that
Okay,
as a reference to talk to him
that's
about.
great. Thank you. Um, the setup cost is one time, and then the retainer is on top of that, I'm assuming, right?
The retainer is funds that we're not using. I mean, we'll deduct the monthly fees from it, but we're not using it for anything beyond what you'll know about. So, for example, we'll be paying your utility bills from it unless you can and want to sign up with a credit card. We'll be paying any monthly cleaning fees from it. We'll be paying your initial insurance fee, insurance policy, which we'll take out for 5 years to minimize the
Okay.
cost. And we'll be paying your annual property tax. So once a year, you'll simply get a statement telling you what we've deducted from it and when it's time to
You'll
top
need
up
to put
again.
back in. I gotcha.
Yeah,
So when
exactly.
we establish service then with you, it's going to be the 500,000 retainer, the 160, 220-ish for the setup.
Well, the 400, somewhere between 350 to 450 is usually the cost of insurance for the 5 years. So we
Okay.
normally tell people the initial retainer that we'll need, including that, is about 1 million yen, which is also
Okay.
the maximum that you can transfer with Wise without it becoming a pain in the bum international transfer. So
Okay.
people usually remit 1 million yen via Wise, and then that's the retainer that we work with.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
again, about half of that will go for the 5 year insurance policy as a first step.
I gotcha. And then you would just take your initial setup fee out of that 1 million.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Um, Trying to think if there's any other questions I had for you, Ziv. I don't think I do right now. So my brother and I bought it together between the two of us. So what I'll do is he and I will talk today or tomorrow. I'll make sure you some questions via email or Hannah, who I've been working with, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds like a plan.
Lovely. I really appreciate the time, Ziv.
Pleasure. Let us know how you go with the.
We'll do.
There'll be a lot. Don't fill in the management plan selection form. There'll be a lot more documents required before we get started, just for review.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
Got it.
Talk to you
Sounds
soon.
great.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Yep. You too.
Bye-bye.
Now, if you're actively looking at property in Japan, you should check out Akiya Mart. That's AKIYA hyphen Mart, MART, akiyamart.com. It's the Zillow of Japan, built for buyers who are actively hunting for a home in Japan and want a much more Western-style web browsing experience than the typical local Japanese websites. Now, we've got an exclusive 30% off promo code for the Akiya Mart Pro annual plan. That's the one that gives you full access to Airbnb zoning maps, hazard maps, sold data, and over 500,000 listings nationwide at any given time. So if you're serious about buying in Japan and you want an easier way to search, this is the best tool that we know of. So you can use my code ZIV, Z-I-V, at checkout and get 30% off your Akiya Mart Pro annual plan at akiyamart.com. All right, so for our second call, this one's audio only with a buyer who's looking for a holiday home at a budget of up to about 150,000 US dollars in and around Tokyo. So obviously the first thing we tackle is the issue of whether that's even feasible. We talk houses versus condos, pros and cons, trying to determine if any of the two is preferable in their case and whether their budget might dictate one option over another. We also talk options for short-term and medium-term rentals in both cases, which of course led us to talk about condo building management rules and how that works, the effects of the age of the structure on ongoing expenses and resale value, what due diligence looks like in both cases, houses versus condos. We then explain how we can support the purchase and management process, what the order of action items needs to be as far as listing reviews, viewings, inspections, offers, and everything else goes. We break down the purchase costs, the ongoing management costs like insurance, cleaning, airing, and other services. And finally, we discuss taxes related to the purchase and ongoing ownership of the property. So nice, thorough, numbers-oriented conversation here on the topic of Tokyo holiday homes. Have a listen and be sure to stick around for the third call coming right after this, especially if you're interested in some live deal analysis.
Okay. So we're looking at Tokyo, specifically the Edogawa area, or?
No. I would say, I had put up my what do you call it, saved searches on at home and Sumo, and sort of excluded Saitama and most of Western Tokyo. And I think, I know Central Tokyo is going to be a little bit tough. I would say our budget maybe 150,000 US. And
Is that including all costs or just the listing price?
It's a little
Because that could be
flexible.
up to, let's call it 12, 13%, I guess.
I think, yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, it's relatively flexible, but if we're getting close to 200, then it's sort of maybe not necessarily worth it in my mind, I guess.
Got it.
So,
Got it.
Of
So we're
course.
talking 22, maybe up to 25 million yen for the
Yeah,
listing
exactly,
price.
exactly. That's
Okay.
that's exactly what I adjusted my search criteria to be, and I'm thinking, periphery of the 23 wards, or maybe that Western Chiba within 30 40 minutes, or we visited Yokohama and actually liked Yokohama.
Yokohama,
So
I mean, if it's not right next to the station, then let's say the central 3, 4 stations, if it's not right next to
Mhm.
them, then Yokohama would be a lot cheaper, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen a few places there, and
Chiba
it's
City, if it's not too far from you, I personally don't find it that exciting, but Chiba City has some
mhm,
cheap properties.
mhm. Okay. And I think my main question was, I had been bouncing back and forth between, house versus apartment. So I think we're looking for, minimum about 50 square meters, 2 bedrooms, the
Well,
LDK is sort of
this budget, this budget in these areas, that's gonna be an old structure though.
hmm Yeah.
You sure a condo
And
unit wouldn't do it for the family?
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what I was thinking, after listening to some of your podcasts about maintenance going, a house over, 20, 30 years, that starts to go up. Whereas,
And
maybe
yard and
main.
garden, I mean, depending on what kind of house you'll end up getting, unless it's really cookie cutter or, right next to the neighbors that might have a house, a garden or a yard, that costs a bit
Mhm,
in maintenance as well when you're not there.
mhm, yeah. So yeah, I think actually after sort of revisiting this and listening to some of your podcasts, it seemed like apartment, although it does have the fees, the set fees, it may end up being, worth it just for the less headache, I guess.
Well,
Your
they'll be
potential headache.
expected and stable. And if we do the due diligence properly on the renovation history of the building and how much they got in reserve funds, then we'll hopefully know that they're not going to be rising too quickly.
Mhm.
It's just less surprises, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think so. I would say, I was just writing down this, my priorities are probably location and then just relatively low maintenance. I'm not looking to DIY anything or major renovation or anything. So, um, those are probably the priorities. And the other thing is, we may want to, not that this is going to be a for sure thing, but, if we have friends that potentially want to stay there or
Yep.
family members even, I mean,
That's not
is
an
that a
issue.
problem
You're
within the?
not, no, I mean, they'll want to know who's staying there. You'll need to probably fill in a little piece of paper telling them who's staying and for how long, but that's your business. You're not
Mhm.
renting it out to Airbnb or anything.
Yeah, yeah. But if we had somebody there, just I don't know how noticeable. We have stayed in an Airbnb apartment and we stayed there 3, 4 days and we didn't actually see anybody, but I guess you know, that's that could be variable from building to building. And
Well,
if people notice that they
usually
see different people coming in
Airbnb
and out.
is not going to let you list a condo unit if you don't have
Yeah,
approval from
exactly.
the owner union, which means that that building is probably owned by a single owner, in which case there isn't an owner union because
Hmm.
99% of them would not agree to that.
Hmm. Okay. So I mean, as long as it's not, yeah, as long as we're not doing Airbnb just to have, friends and family a few times a
Nobody's
year.
business. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
again, you need to tell them who's there and for how long for safety reasons, but nobody's
I
business
see.
otherwise.
Okay. Like who do you need to inform? That's the
The
management.
owner union rep, whether if it's self-managed, it'll be a guy in one of the apartments. Otherwise, it'll be maybe an on-site guy sitting downstairs at the office, depending on how big the building is.
Okay. Okay. So to just let them
Well,
know.
we can do that on your behalf if we're managing the property, but every time we have to do some non-routine work like that, we have to charge for, the 30 minutes or 1 hour that it takes, whatever the case may be.
Okay. No, that's reasonable. And in your experience, capital appreciation, I think what you have said is, of course, the more central in Tokyo, the better. But say like Chiba versus Yokohama, is it, you know,
I mean, the reason
not
they're
really.
still cheap is because they haven't seen that much appreciation, right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, they're going up slowly over time. They're big metropolitan centers in Japan, but nothing like Tokyo.
Hmm. Okay. And
Saitama actually has been going up, yeah, a bit more sharply even than Chiba and Yokohama.
oh, really? Okay. Yeah,
I
I
guess
just.
because it's literally 30 minutes to semi-central Tokyo, like Ueno Station or whatever. So.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, great. Thanks. And I know this may be hard to predict, but I know I guess this is more for rental properties, but apartments and specifically, or I guess mansions, buy at around 30 years and sell at 40 years. I mean, would that still generally apply to a vacation home?
I mean, we're a bit more flexible if it's not for investment purposes, because if it's an investment property, its value will immediately decrease once the monthly fees go up, because investors look
Mhm.
at bottom lines, right? They don't care about. But if it's a holiday home, then you're probably getting value from it the longer you use it. If it's still profitable for you because it's cheaper than paying for a hotel when you come over, then it's probably
Mhm.
still okay, I guess.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't keep it much past
40. Okay.
40-ish because that's when its value will start to drop, whoever you end up selling it to.
Okay. Yeah, because I've seen, like I've heard you say that, the I guess the maintenance fees or the repair reserve fees go up at about 40. And I've seen some 40-year properties with relatively low, fees total, but I guess, those could potentially shoot up in the next, 5 to 10 years
They should be. I
also.
mean, we will, again, part of due diligence is we'll look at the renovation history and we'll look at how much they've got in reserve funds. If they haven't been collecting that much, then they can't have that much in reserve funds, right?
Mm,
So
okay.
either they've borrowed to do some big renovations or they haven't done big renovations that they should have been doing every 10, 15 years. So we'll want to look at that to see if there's not going to be because if they suddenly triple the fees or they suddenly say, okay, well, we have to pay for this and we don't have money, everybody fork out $2,000, but that's something
Mhm.
that we want to try and avoid. Right?
Okay. And I mean, in terms of a house, a house in our range, I mean, is there ever anything that you would see on a listing that you would say, this might be okay, or this is just something that would have to be vetted? Um,
It's a bit of a statistics game. So obviously everything that's older than 30 years old, we'd recommend to have a structural inspection done. I mean,
mhm,
Japan, every little earthquake can rock the foundation enough to damage, right? So
mhm,
um, the likelihood of the structural inspection coming back with major issues is much higher the older the property is. So I'm not going to be able to tell you just by looking at it, but I can tell you that there's a good chance that this will be a property that you'll need to fork an extra few million into, maybe up to
mhm,
10 million, based on its age and how it's looking. Vaguely, it's very likely that you'll have to pay $1,500 or whatever the inspection will cost to find out that this property is in bad shape.
mhm. Okay. So, and I have seen a few houses listed as lightweight steel, and
It's a bit
is
better.
that
They last
something
a bit longer.
better than wood, but not as good as reinforced
Not near
steel
concrete, no.
concrete? Okay. Okay. Um, uh, and for an apartment, is there such thing as like is there an inspection that's usually performed when purchasing an apartment?
No, the due diligence focuses on the buildings management
Okay,
documentation. So what they're doing, how detailed it is it done on time, how much do they have, do they have enough for the next big renovation? That's what we look at. We'll
I
know
see.
what the interior looks like. We'll be able to view it if it's vacant when you purchase it, but we don't really
Hmm.
need to inspect that much. Looking at an interior will tell us what we need to do to it.
I see. I see. Okay, great. And I mean, I don't know if you're doing full facilitation or just still doing the kind of consultation
Still the consulting, but
evaluation.
very hopeful. We just hired two new big bookkeepers, which was, I mean,
Okay.
we've gone through a few in the last couple of years, but these two look promising. So I'm still
Okay.
hoping to stick to my end of year assessment on that. But the
Oh,
consulting
okay.
works well. So if you want to start
Hmm.
moving before that, that's very feasible.
Okay. And how do viewings work in using that consultation method? Would they be able to do the viewing directly with me, or is it usually with somebody from your office?
If you're in Tokyo, then we'll be or close to Tokyo, then we'll be hooking you up with a foreigner-friendly English-speaking agent from Tokyo.
Mhm.
Depending on how far you go, they might not charge or they might charge minimum fees. It's not going to cost much.
Okay. And I was probably more referring to remote since we, you know, most likely won't be there anytime soon. So a remote
Well,
viewing would that be through with one of your, I guess, people near Tokyo, or would that potentially be just we with me directly with the agent
it would be you directly with the agent, but it'll be an agent that will be able to
that can
serve you
speak?
directly in English and knows how to do remote purchases and
Oh.
viewings and everything related to it. So we'll hook you up with a buyer side agent. I'm happy to
Hmm.
just introduce you to one as well. Don't feel obliged to hire us for consulting. We don't charge for introduction.
Hmm.
So if you want to go it on your own, we'll just introduce you to an agent. You'll be working directly with them. If they'll be handling the viewings and everything else. If we are consulting, then we'll be with you in the chat group, organizing the viewings, conducting due diligence, guiding them on what we want to ask, what questions we want to confirm, reviewing the structural inspection report together, whichever way you want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
most
that
agents will be okay, but not necessarily going to be super strategic. Their job is to help you purchase, not to raise red flags and stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's my concern. You know, with an apartment, it kind of relies on that viewing to sort of evaluate at least the inside of the unit in terms
More
of,
so
finding.
the review of the building management documentation. The viewing you'll be able to quickly see on your own if there's anything that looks rotting or out
Okay.
of place
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah. But the reviewing the building's documentation, making sure that they are okay and they're not going to suddenly jack up the fees or hit you up, that's something that I would recommend somebody to look over your shoulder maybe.
Yeah.
If it's a
That makes
condo. And if it's a house, it's a matter of reviewing the structural inspection report once we get that done.
Okay, great.
But I mean, even before that, to save the agent's time and your money on extra viewing trips and wasting time, just vetting the listings, pointing out stuff that you may have not thought about. It's an elevated retaining wall. It'll cost a lot of money if it comes down in an earthquake, or it's not going to happen in Tokyo, I don't think, but watch out for the septic tank. You want to install a septic tank, that's a few hundred extra dollars a year in maintenance, or you're on a cesspool, we need to replace that and install and maybe connect to city sewage. Not going to be an issue in Tokyo, but again, this kind of garden or yard might cost a little bit more in maintenance. So even vetting the listings and saving you from having to go out on the remote viewings to listings that are maybe not as suitable as other ones, probably worth getting us involved a bit earlier, I'd say, not just when you're actually doing the inspection.
Now, if you've attended any of our recent JREP Summit events in Tokyo or online, you've probably heard our sponsor, Robert Miller from Innovatious.com. He's been in web solutions here in Japan for the past 25 years, and he's also an active investor in Japanese real estate property, as well as global online property, which is his specialty and what his company Innovatious is all about. They offer a full suite of website services for entrepreneurs and small business owners, including all aspects of web design and management, backup and updates, content formatting and editing, proactive maintenance and error fixing, you name it, with a strong focus on SEO excellence, which is what gets you those hardcore top-of-the-list search engine rankings. But there is a difference. Innovatious works off a simple, all-inclusive monthly subscription model, as opposed to the typical outdated and confusing project model. So you never have to wonder how much any request for any work to be done on your website might cost. It's always $497 per month. And if that's not enough, if you've mentioned you've heard of their services on the Japan Real Estate Podcast, you'll also get 10% off this monthly price for life. Also, and equally important, if not more, you can try out Innovatious for just 1 month, then switch them off, on again later if you want, and so forth. There are no minimum subscription terms. Now, if you're a small business owner, managing and growing a website is super distracting and time consuming, right? That's exactly where Innovations comes in. Robert's team takes care of all of that for you so that you can focus on what you do best. So feel free to email Rob on robert@innovatious.com, and his team will conduct a full SEO and website audit on your site, reveal anything that you should address to increase your website's appeal, and provide you with an easy-to-read detailed report with your own branding so that you can make some informed decisions on your online strategy and watch your business grow as you implement it. So once more, robert@innovatious.com. Drop him a line and get your website reviewed today.
Okay. And how would we arrange to do that, like in terms of sending you the listings to review, or somebody on your team?
So we'll create a WhatsApp chat group together, yourself, myself, and the agent that's going to be handling your case. And then we will float the listings there, and I'll immediately give you feedback about them. Then we'll narrow them down, prioritize them, and then they will contact the listing agents and ask if they have any further information about those, start organizing the remote viewings and so forth.
And if I just had questions about viewings, just what do you think, or something like that, is that something we can just do, or do we do that on the retainer, or the, I think it's the 10-hour retainer? Or...
It's a 10-hour retainer that will usually suffice for a single purchase. I mean, most people
Mhm.
don't look at more than 20 listings and actually attend maybe 10 viewings.
Mhm.
So that usually does for a single purchase for us to handhold you through that.
Okay.
I've only ever had one case where I had to charge a second retainer because the client was just super picky.
Mhm. And I want to try to kind of hammer down the monthly cost. So say we have an apartment, and I've listened to a couple of your recent podcasts about vacation homes and the different sort of monthly costs. So I know there's the purchase tax, but that's the one time uh, for 24 months after settlement. Is that correct?
Yep, 6 to
And
12 these
then
days. Yeah.
Okay. And then there is also property tax yearly on top of that.
Yes, that's usually going to be up to about 1.5%.
Okay.
Worst case, usually less than that.
Okay. Yearly though.
Yeah, I'd say between 0.5% to 1.5%, depending on
Oh,
how different the market evaluation was, the market price was to the official evaluation.
oh, I see. So it just depends on the official evaluation. I see. Okay. And then I don't know if it's called disaster insurance or fire insurance, home insurance. I think you mentioned it was relatively inexpensive, a few
Yeah,
thousand for 5 years. Is that
yeah. So
correct?
normally somewhere between 350 to 500,000 yen for a 5-year policy. So
350.
I haven't seen it go much beyond 1,000 yen per year on houses at this budget. A thousand, sorry, $1,000 per year.
1,000 bucks. Okay.
Worst case,
And
usually much less.
And then for a vacation home, your management of utilities and I think the kind of light cleaning slash airing is 3 hours a month plus.
So we've got three plans for that. They cost 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours a month.
Mhm.
Just basic bill payments and annual taxes, uh, utilities. You know what? Let me just share that screen with you. It'll be a lot
Okay, great.
easier.
Thank you.
Give me a second. Paying your utility bills, your internet, your insurance, making two sets of extra keys for us and for whatever contractors go to the property to have access to it. Um, if it's a condo, payment of the monthly condo fees and your one-off purchase tax and your annual property taxes. So that's 2 hours a month,
Hmm.
and it costs about 106,000 yen to set up.
Okay.
Okay. Then if you also need airing and cleaning, which is probably something you want to get done if you're not going to be there at least every other month.
Hmm.
Otherwise, the humidity and the mold will eat up your interior. So you want somebody to open the doors, the windows, do some light vacuuming once a month. If you need us to also do that, that's an extra 60,000 yen for the setup, and it adds one monthly hour. So 13,000
Okay.
yen per month. That's just our fees, though. Yeah, the cleaning utility
Hmm.
companies, they all charge whatever they charge.
Hmm.
And then if you have a house and you have a backyard and a garden, you need
Uh,
somebody to put in some contractors for that, then that's 222,000 yen to set up and another hour per month.
okay. Okay, great. Perfect. Thank you. And roughly, for the airing service, how much are we talking?
Um, in or close to a big city where they have easy access, usually they can send people over by subway or what. I guess 50 to $100 a month, depending on how big the
Mhm.
place is.
Okay. And for utilities, if nobody is there, is there a charge to, maintain
There's a
water,
1,000
gas?
yen keep alive for electricity. That's about it.
That's it. Oh, okay. All right.
1,000,
So
2,000, I can't remember, but something small.
something. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, no, this is
We
great.
also have, if you're are gonna have people there on a fairly regular basis, then you might want
Mhm.
like a prioritized response plan, gives you up to 4 hours to pick our brain or ask us for stuff every month,
Mm,
at the price of an extra 3 hours. And then we also prioritize and give you WhatsApp access to our staffers if you have an emergency there or whatnot.
Oh, I see. Okay. If it's kind of a something that's needed more regularly.
If you're gonna be there, oh, I mean, some of our clients are just like high net worth types, and they just want the constant. I mean, it's not 24/7, but at least within business hours, we can give them support when they need it, right?
Hmm. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Otherwise, I mean, we'll
And,
obviously, if it's not an emergency, then we'll have to prioritize it based on which email we got first and get to them within the week. It's not instantaneous.
okay. Great. And I just a, a funny question, but if I have a cousin in Tokyo, I mean, is that would that help at all aside from what you do, or you know,
If he's happy to do
I
all of that on your behalf, yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't really. I don't think I would ask him to do that. But okay, yeah.
I mean,
But
not
it would have,
really, because we'll
yeah,
need to be the contact person for all of those utility and cleaning and
yeah,
gardening
exactly.
contractors. So
Yeah, unless he's
unless
willing
he
to do
wants
that.
to be on the spot for all of that, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, I haven't talked to him about it or anything. And I wasn't
And
really going
pay
to.
your bills and keep a nice Excel sheet of itemized expenses. Like, I mean, I do that for an apartment that I rent out from one of our clients with a couple of friends, and I know what a headache it is. So I don't know that anybody would do that for free unless they really love you.
Yeah, or he can stay there for a while if he wants, I guess.
Oh, that's doable. Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, and let's see, legal and registration fees. You had mentioned, 2 to 6%, and does that change with property price? Like
Changes
I
with
heard.
again the official evaluation, similar to the property tax.
Okay, okay.
So the judicial scrivener, the lawyer, has their set fee, which is I guess 1,000 or 1,500 bucks for the transaction. And then the government
Hmm.
charges registration tax, which is based on the official evaluation of the property, which again is going to be different to market price. So that's why it
Hmm.
fluctuates because I can't tell you in advance what the official eval is.
Hmm. Okay, so that's similar to the, what did we say?
Property
Okay,
tax.
property tax. Okay, that's wrapping my head around everything here. Okay, great. And let's see. So for a, just talking apartments specifically, if we needed to do just some minor renovations, how might that work? Would that just be an
We're
hourly?
happy to do it for you. We just charge renovation projects are hard to assess. Everyone is
Hmm.
different. So we just charge by the hour for whatever time we need to spend managing it.
Okay, okay. Um, great. Yeah, no, I think that's it of my questions. So I guess my question, I guess my last question is, if I do come across listings, like what would the process be like? Send it to you, or if I want to kind of delve into more, or I guess
Well, it
get your feedback.
depends on when you want to pull the trigger. If we loop
Hmm.
an agent in, then they can also search for listings on your behalf, or you can
I
send
see.
them listings and they will dig into them together for you.
Yeah, I mean,
If you
I'm
just
relatively
want my 2 cents about a couple of listings, I'm not going to charge you for it. You can send them our way. But once you want us to actually look at a list and start prioritizing them, then we'll need to be involved, or I'll put you directly in touch with an agent.
Oh, okay. So if I just have a question about it, or just a few listings that I could just how would I send them to you through email or?
Um, yeah, do you have my WhatsApp, my mobile number? I'll reply to your last email with just a blank signature.
Oh, okay.
Then you'll have my mobile number there, and
Okay.
just hit me up on WhatsApp.
Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I see things and sort of have questions, but a little hesitant to kind of like pull the trigger sometimes, but just to get some, basic feedback on like
Yeah.
this is definitely a no-go or something like that. That would be very helpful. But I think, going through revisiting a lot of your information, I think I've narrowed it down to, definitely something newer. We'll have to check the budget and see how things look in terms of, location and what I could get within the budget. But,
Yep.
it seems like just shooting for so is an apartment at 30 years versus a house at 20, you're probably, my feeling is you get you would probably be more likely to find something reasonable at an apartment with an apartment at 30 than a house at 20. It doesn't seem like there's so much,
Well, a
you
house
know.
at 20 is not a bad thing necessarily. A house at 20 is young enough to be giving you at least, I'd hope, at least 10, 15 years of
Mhm.
good sleep at night. Like it's not going to have
Yeah.
issues, right? The question is, what kind of house is it? How
Yeah.
big is the yard and the garden? What sort of monthly or annual maintenance will it
Mhm.
take? But if you catch a house at 20 within the greater Tokyo metropolitan area, that not sure that fits within your budget.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think I haven't seen anything, in the 2000s in a house
No.
in my kind of like search range. So,
Yeah.
okay. So I think that's just the general idea there. Okay, great. Yeah, no, you've been very helpful. I think that's cleared up some of the questions I have, especially thinking about, you know, monthly and yearly kind of fees and what I'd be dealing with, if that even makes sense to, you know, be paying that versus, just doing the same old hotel slash Airbnb, which, I don't really
That's
want to.
definitely a pricier way to go, I would think. You're talking about not a
Mhm.
small family, so
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's that has
If
been
you
our
want a
struggle.
Tokyo getaway, I think maybe a condo is just easier on the management. Again, we have customers who just need the backyard and the extra space, so
Yeah,
obviously they
yeah.
go for it. But if you're just looking for a comfortable place to stay when you're coming over and you don't need that, I'd say a condo is the easier route.
Yeah. I think I kind of after going the opposite direction for a while, I came back to came back to my senses, I would say.
Yeah. Anytime,
Okay.
we're here. So introduction
All
to
right.
an agent, or if you want us consulting, just let me know and we'll get started.
Okay. Great. Thanks so much, Zib.
Pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so for our final call of this session, and this one's video again, if you're listening via our audio podcast, you might want to hop over to our YouTube channel for this one. We'll link to it in this episode's show notes, because in this call, which is with a buyer who's moving to Japan and purchasing what's meant to be a more permanent family home, we do lots of live deal analysis on listings that they're interested in. We look at all of those from the crucial aspects of the cost of remote management while they're still not living here, as well as short-term rentals feasibility for that initial period of time. And then we get into the real issues with these older, cheaper properties. So structural, roof, electric, and plumbing inspections, how these work, ongoing maintenance, renovations, repairs, you name it. We also segue into a more general discussion about what life might be like in rural and semi-rural areas in Japan. We also talk potential capital gains, reselling, and the tax obligations related to that. Viewings, in-person and remote, property search, where to find potential listings. We also cover the purchase process itself, from making an offer to the contract, deposit, and finally settlement. And then how soon can somebody actually practically move into a property after they've purchased it, and how I can assist with any or all of these procedures. So enjoy the conversation, and I'll see you again one last time on the other side. Okay, so let me just browse through your email again to refresh my memory. You're going to be in Japan
Okay.
October 8th to 17th. You've got some houses in priority. Okay. Residential use. Okay, so you're not planning to rent it out or do anything else except use it as a holiday home, yes?
I'm planning to move there, so it'll be like a permanent home.
Okay. Have you got your visa sorted and everything?
Not quite, not yet.
Okay. You sure you're going to buy the house even if you don't end up getting a visa?
Yeah, still gonna buy it no matter what.
Okay, cool. So with that in mind, do you want me to share my screen so we'll look at those listings together?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, give me a sec.
I have a question. What's the difference if she moved and she just uses it as vacation? What's
Okay.
the difference? Is there any difference between that?
Sorry, I didn't hear that last sentence.
Okay, is there any difference between buying the house for living there or without a visa and just travel there? Is there any difference with the property or?
Well, if you're not living there throughout the year and you're not going to be there at least every other month, then you will need to pay someone to do some light airing and cleaning to avoid mold
Oh, okay.
buildup. If there's a garden or backyard, you'll need to pay
Oh, okay.
somebody to take care of that. So it's more costly if you're not there yourself.
Mhm.
The
Okay.
maintenance, mainly the maintenance. Okay, so let's.
And she still rent a house, or there's a contract to rent a house? Or does she need to buy a house in certain places to rent it?
To rent it to somebody else when she's not using it, you mean?
Yes.
Well, if she's going to be using it once in a while, it can't be a long-term tenant. So the only option would be to rent it out by the month or on something like
Yeah.
Airbnb for short-term stays.
Okay.
That's more complicated. If it's short-term stays, Airbnb, you need a license, and not all properties will comply with the requirements. So that's a whole different kind of research that we'll need to do. Renting it out by the month is legally always possible, but the question is, depending on where you buy, if there are management companies in that area who can do monthly rentals, that's not definitely
Oh.
not a given because
Mm.
it takes a specialty to handle those kinds of rentals, and companies would not set up in areas where they don't have enough business.
Okay. Okay. Makes
So
sense.
those are all considerations, but monthly rentals at least are always legally possible. They just fall under normal rentals legally, so you don't need any special license for that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So let me share my screen. There we go. Okay. So this is the first one. Wow, that's very cheap. Okay. 1979. So generally speaking, houses that are over, let's say, 30 and definitely over 40 years old are going to be likely to have some structural issues. They're not really built to last in Japan.
Okay.
So we can definitely we will recommend to conduct a structural inspection before you purchase anything if it's older than 30 years of age. But just bear
Okay.
in mind that every structural inspection will cost somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 US dollars. So you don't want to, if you look at houses that are too old, it's very likely that you'll have to pay for a few of these inspections before you land on one that doesn't have major issues.
Okay.
So, if at all possible within your budget, I would recommend to aim for as young as you can. That's 1979. That's going on 50 soon. That's getting a little bit too old for comfort, I would say, for Japanese.
Okay.
We interrupt this broadcast to tell you about Tokyo Family Stays. They're a short-term rentals company in Tokyo, and they offer a home away from home experience, which is just perfect for remote working, quarantining, if that's still a thing, or if you just need somewhere quiet to get away from the world. They offer a variety of options for families, corporate relocations, or even if you're simply transitioning between homes in Tokyo. The properties are super comfortable, tastefully furnished, fully equipped with all amenities, and they accommodate up to 10 people. So, really, the only thing you'll need to bring with you is your toothbrush and maybe a change of clothes. They come with fast, unlimited wireless internet, dedicated workspaces, and fully equipped kitchens, and they're just a delight to stay in. Fantastic alternative to Japanese business hotels, which, if you've ever stayed in one, you probably know they're tiny, they're noisy, fine for a night or two if you're on your own, but longer term or with a family, you'll probably feel you're in a jail cell very quickly in a Japanese business hotel. So if you want to give yourself a sense of space and freedom by renting a real home with comfortable Western beds, including all the necessities like baby bedding, children's toys, high chairs, etc., you definitely want to reach out to Tokyo Family Stays. They've been at it for over a decade. They're a fully licensed minpaku or short-term stay operator. And as a special bonus for our viewers and listeners, they're also throwing in a breakfast basket upon arrival for anyone who books and mentions the Japan Real Estate Podcast or NTI. And not only for guests, if you're a property owner, you've got an investment property that you want to tweak for higher profit, or a holiday home that you want to rent out when you're not using it via short-term stays, drop them a line today, see how they can help you maximize your property's income. And again, as a special bonus to our viewers and listeners, they're also offering a free audit of your existing short-term stay listings without any obligation whatsoever. So feel free to reach out to them at tokyofamilystays.com. Well worth a visit. And again, if you're in the market for a family home in or around the Tokyo metropolitan area, Emil's your man. Don't be shy to reach out to him as well at sales@realestate.jp. And now, back to the podcast.
Okay.
The other thing with this one is see how it's built on a kind of half, the street is sloping, so half elevated retaining wall there.
Mm-hmm.
Those can be, if those are damaged by, earthquakes, typhoons to a point where they have to rebuild, that can be quite expensive. It might cost more than the house.
Okay.
Okay. If it's due to an earthquake or something of that sort, then your insurance will cover at least half of it normally. But if it happens just because, the wall is getting old and standard wear and tear from weather, etc., insurance will not cover that. So in that case, you'll need to pay
Oh,
a lot of money to reconstruct because then the earth needs to be repacked around the house as well.
okay.
Okay, so those are two things to watch out for. Let me just look quickly at the rest of the photos. Okay, so this, like we've mentioned, there's not any complicated vegetation here, but the grass will need to be religiously maintained when you're not using the property to avoid getting in trouble with neighbors and the municipality and whatnot. So bear in
Okay.
mind another, I don't know, let's call it on average $100, maybe a little bit less per month
Okay.
for maintenance of the backyard. The interior looks okay. Nice view. Okay. Aside from that, okay, that's the town around you, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay, so that looks all right. Ikebukuro, access to Ikebukuro. Sorry, what's the address again? Hano City. Hano City. Well, where is that exactly? I don't think I've heard that name before.
I saw that it was kind of close to Saitama.
Hano. Hano. Ah, yes, Saitama Prefecture. There we go.
Mhm.
Okay, that is suspiciously cheap for this area. I would want to look a little bit deeper into it. Also, I'm not seeing. Is it just my screen, or is yours being cut out like this on the right too when you look at it?
Yeah, mine cut out a little bit too on the right side.
Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, Septic tank and on city water, which is good. I'm just not seeing uh, ownership. Oh yeah, land rights are yours. Okay. Aside from those two things, those few things I've mentioned, I don't see any major red flags, but the price is suspiciously low, so we'll have to look into that a bit closer
Okay.
if and when we start with due diligence. Okay, so
Okay.
second one. Otsuki, 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 Yamanashi. Okay, that's a bit further from Tokyo now.
Hmm.
6.5 million built. 91. That's much nicer. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it just it
Mhm.
gives you a few more years before you start having to pay for maintenance and stuff. That's all.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So same story here with the elevated retaining wall. Just bear in mind if that needs to be rebuilt, it might cost a fair bit.
Okay.
Not seeing too many photos of the inside, so I can't really comment more on that. Um, Also, I'm not seeing whether this one is on. Oh, maybe it's down here. There we go. Okay. Septic tank and public water supply. Okay, that's good. It says complete interior renovation, but they're not showing us any photos. That's a bit weird.
Exactly. Yeah.
Vacant house delivery immediately. Ownership of rights. Okay, that's just. Okay, I like this one a lot better. It's a lot younger, and but again, without seeing the interior photos, I'm just guessing.
Hmm.
Third one is this one. Oh, now you're getting even older. I would probably advise against anything as old as this if you can afford to buy a younger.
Okay.
This one comes with management fees, so maybe it's on resort grounds or something similar.
Mhm.
Public water supply and drainage. Okay, so this is a villa on a resort.
Oh,
You're not
okay.
planning to rent it out, so that's not an
No.
issue.
No.
And you've got hot spring waters, which you'll have to pay a bit for as well. Okay, that looks cute. It's just that it's quite old, so it's pretty much guaranteed to have some medium or major structural issues. Just bear in mind.
Okay.
Nice though, I like it.
Yeah, it's cute.
And the interior, as opposed to the other ones, the interior you will probably need to spruce up a little bit with this one, yeah?
Okay.
It looks to be not in bad shape, but that bathroom is probably not going to be super comfortable for Westerners, so you
Mhm.
want to replace
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so the only added comment is this is not a retaining wall, it's more like stilts, but so that would be cheaper to fix up if there's any issues, but still elevated always means a bit more expensive that needs to be fixed up. But
Mhm.
otherwise, yeah, my main issue with this one is its age. So I'm sure a structural inspection will reveal something and probably not just minor stuff, I would say at this age.
Okay.
And the last one is this one. What? Okay, how old is this one? That looks a lot older. Ibaraki.
Mm.
Itachi.
Oops, there's that. Mhm. Wow.
I can't I can't scroll between the photos. I have to click. Okay. Beautiful house.
Yeah. Mm.
Wow, that's the oldest one yet. Okay. Um, Definitely recommend against anything this old.
Okay.
Also, if it's built with traditional features like this one, then you need
Mhm.
specialists to fix those up if and when they go.
Oh, okay.
So that
That was
renovations repairs can cost a fair bit more when you need it on a house that has these traditional features.
okay. That makes sense.
Propane, water, gas, septic tank. No, no, country-free
So los primeros dos. Yo pienso que sí, the first two.
Okay, and they're giving it to you for including all of the owner's previous stuff, which probably means the owner passed away and has no descendants.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it's being sold by the city's Akia Bank, which means, I mean, the process for purchase can be a bit more complicated, and they might want to understand to make sure that you're actually moving to that area and not just going to be using it for Airbnb or something. But otherwise,
Uh-huh.
I wonder what's this? What's this photo though? Is that an ad?
I don't know. I'm not sure what that one is. Did you choose that one? Did you get? Yeah.
Yeah, no, please don't choose that one.
Yeah, no, I won't. Excuse me. Yeah.
Ah, demolition subsidy. Okay. Oh no, that's an ad. Okay, don't worry about that. That's just an ad for
Okay. Okay.
if you,
Okay. Cool. Good.
if you need demolition services. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so honestly, I like the second one just purely based on its
Oh, what's
age.
the-
I like the second
Okay.
one a lot more.
Okay. Okay.
But
So,
otherwise,
a question about the second house.
yep.
It's newer, of course, but it's supposed they remodel it. So I I just want to make sure how the drainage is and all the ¿cómo se dice tubos? The drain the pipes and the gas pipes and then the electricity or the power, those look good because sometimes they remodel just the house but not all that it's inside the house. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I doubt that they would have done plumbing or wiring renovation unless there was something wrong with it and they needed to replace it. And in those cases, they would probably only replace the problematic section. So you can basically assume that around, maybe not quite yet for this one, but around 50, 45, 50 years of age, you'll start to need to replace segments.
To
Um,
replace. Oh, okay.
we can, in addition to a structural inspection, if you want, we can also commission and pay for plumbing and the wiring inspection.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, that would be great.
yeah, but that's gonna cost a fair few hundreds, or let's say up to $1,000 more, and most likely they're gonna tell you that it's old and you'll soon need to replace them. It's not gonna be any.
Mhm.
So it's not really,
It's not.
it doesn't make
It
sense.
doesn't make any sense then for them to check it.
I mean, I mean, usually what the inspectors will do if the power and the water are connected, then they'll turn on the switches and turn on the taps and look for any immediate signs of water leaks or anything not working. But
Exactly.
we can commission a deeper plumbing and wiring check if you want, but
No.
I
But
doubt.
it's not going
I
to be
mean,
what.
I'm kind of expecting it to be old and maybe functional, but eventually will need replacing. That's usually the case with these older.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it happens.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So what about the area in particular the second house? Is that a good area? I mean, you are the expert, you know the areas there. What do you think about this
I'm
area?
definitely not an expert about living in any of the. I haven't lived everywhere in Japan, but let me have.
Oh, you don't live in Japan then? Oh,
Oh, no, I live in Japan,
Yes.
but not
Oh,
everywhere in
Yes,
Japan.
yeah.
okay, okay. You don't live in Japan.
No,
Uh,
yes.
Look, I'm not just looking at the map. It's a very rural area, right? So I can see one big hotel in the city. Toyoko Inn are kind of a big company.
Oh,
One
okay.
big shopping center right next to the station.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So,
but it's a quiet place. I don't think you'll have too much English services there. Rural Japan rarely has anything like that.
Okay.
Otherwise, I can't tell you much about it. Have you visited? Have you been to these areas?
We stayed in Tokyo last year.
Okay.
So we like kind of know like the general vicinity of like Tokyo,
Yep.
but we didn't go outside of it. But we're like willing to do that this year. I guess in a couple weeks
Yeah.
when we're out there.
mhm.
Go
Well, I
check it
mean,
out.
like the first place around Saitama, I would say fairly close, 30 minutes from Tokyo, roughly. And
Oh,
Saitama City is, if it's not a huge city, but it's big enough to give you like a bit of an urban feel and urban facilities.
Hmm.
But this
oh,
one looks a lot more rural, so I'd expect this would be closer to countryside living, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
mhm.
Aside from that, I can't really tell you much, but it's close enough to Tokyo to have all the facilities and services that you would need. It's just a matter of, how far from
Traveling.
where the house is you'd need to travel to get them. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So if, for example, if she buys the house,
Yep.
but she wants to move to another place, how long does she have to sell that house and buy another one? There's a time limit, or she can just sell it and buy another one later?
No, you can buy and sell whenever you. Why would there be a time
Okay.
limit? What kind of time limit are you referring to?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because in here, for example, you buy a house and then you are just like gaining like the escrow, and then you just wanted to wait 2 years to get to a good escrow to sell it and then to buy another house. So is that
Yes,
the
I'm
case
not
in
sure what
Japan?
you mean. What you mean by escrow? Sorry, maybe.
Like it gains value over time. The houses do.
That's not going to happen in Japan. Definitely not
Oh, okay.
out of the
Okay,
big
good.
cities.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
If you
perfect. Okay.
sell them within 5 years from purchase, then the capital gains tax is higher.
Oh, okay.
But I don't
Mm-hmm.
think you're going to have too much capital gains with that location and
Okay.
these age structures. So I don't think
Okay.
it's not really a consideration, I'd say.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay. Mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay.
Any other questions I can answer for you?
Mhm. No, I think I'm okay for now. I just want to go and see the house first.
Okay. So were you planning to view them in person, or did you want to send people to do a Zoom remote viewing for you?
I mean, if I can see them in person when I'm out there, if of course if they're still for sale, that would be great. Just so I can kind of get a feel of the house and stuff.
Okay, but we'll still the listing agents. So you're gonna work through a bilingual buyer side, foreigner friendly agent, but the listing agents, the one who's actually listing this property, they're
Mhm.
usually not gonna be able to work directly with foreigners. So you will still need to pay for somebody to come with you for the viewings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bear in mind, number one, bear in mind, I'd say probably we'll send in an agent from Tokyo. So we want to have, I mean, just to make better use of your time and money, we want to have,
Mhm.
if possible, a few houses in that area to look
Yes.
at. So, for
Okay.
example, if you're going to look at the house in Yamanashi, then try to find two or three more listings in Yamanashi that might be interesting.
Okay. Okay.
And then bear in mind probably a couple of $100 for somebody to come in and spend the day with you from Tokyo and then return.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay,
That
so
works.
yeah, that's fine. So will you just give us a list to choose, or do we
No, I
just have to look? Oh, she has a
I
list.
have lists.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the realtor that will be looping into the process will be able to research for you as well. They don't charge extra for
Okay.
researching more properties, but
Oh, okay.
it's
Okay.
a personal lifestyle choice. So you're always going to be the best filter. If somebody else searches for listings,
Exactly.
it's going to be a lot more hit and miss. How are you finding listings, by the way? How do you find these?
I followed this page on Instagram called Cheap Houses Japan.
Yep.
And I worked with, like, I talked to Michael and
Yep.
he just like sent me over to you. And that's how I was able to find all the listings.
Okay, so the listings came from Michael's newsletter.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's another good website called Akia Mart. The subscription, I think, is similar price to Michael's, like 15, $20 a month, something like that.
Okay.
What they do is because Michael's newsletter is beautiful, but it's hand curated. So he goes through
Hmm.
listings, he chooses the ones that he finds most attractive, and it's a fairly
Uh,
limited list. What
Hmm.
Akiyamar do is it's an automatic system that scrapes all of the major property portals in Japan and puts everything together in like a Zillow-like interface with a map
Oh, cool.
and in English. So there you've got over 1 million listings at any given moment. That might be a
Okay.
good place to search. And
Okay.
I'll reply to your last email with a discount code. So you'll get the first 3 months a bit cheaper if you want to subscribe with them.
Awesome. Thank you.
Give me a second, just I'll do it now, otherwise I'll forget.
Okay.
Discount code is our company, NTI. There we go. Okay. So you've read through our explanation of services document. You've got a rough idea of how we work, what's involved, and all that. I think
Yes. Uh-huh.
before we did that. So I'll caveat that to say that until the end of the year, we're not able to do the full purchase facilitation where we do everything on your behalf and you just need to talk to us. We're just a little bit stuck with, not stuck anymore, but still stuck in training. So we just had to hire and train a few more people. So what
Okay.
I've been doing and what I'll do in your case as well is I'll put you in touch directly with a foreigner-friendly English-speaking buyer-side agent. They'll be able to handle everything remotely in English on your behalf, same as we would have done if we were doing everything. And the
Okay.
difference is that you'll need to work with them directly and with a lawyer directly. We're not going to be able to sign documents and attend meetings on your behalf. You'll just need to be a little bit more involved.
Okay.
okay.
Also, agents are by nature transactional. They're not strategic. So the kind of conversation that we just had about, oh, watch out for this, watch out for that, they're not going to do so much of that. Their
Okay.
job is to either research listings or work with listings that you give them and that just make sure the transaction goes through legally.
Okay.
So if you want somebody to help with due diligence, watch over your shoulder, review documents before you sign them, look at the structural inspection report together,
Mhm.
then we can join as consultants for a few $100. That's also a lot cheaper than having us do everything on your behalf. And
Okay.
then we'll create a WhatsApp chat group with the agent. We'll be in there. We'll guide them on due
Nice.
diligence. We'll provide feedback every step of the way. So I
Okay.
can either introduce you to an agent directly and leave you to it. Don't feel obliged to hire us. Or if you want the consulting and the hand holding, then let me know and then I'll stay in the group with you.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good.
So
Okay.
in the
Perfect.
email that I just sent to you, you've got my signature, you've got my mobile number there. If you could add me on WhatsApp. Are you on WhatsApp?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay. So just send me a little emoji or something on WhatsApp. Tell me that it's you, and then we'll kick off the conversation with the agent and take it from there.
Okay. Perfect. Sounds
Okay,
good.
one more question.
Sure.
If we go to Japan in 2 weeks, when we go to Japan in 2 weeks, and
Yep.
then we like the house or we like a house there,
and
Yep.
then we want to buy it. We want to make an offer.
Yep.
How does that work, and how long after that she can, the property is going to be hers?
So the
How
way
long does it?
Yeah, so the way it works is, first of all, when we submit the offer, because these houses are a bit old, we'd probably submit the offer pending a structural inspection. It'll be a condition on the offer that we're
Mhm.
offering such and such price, and that's pending a structural inspection report.
Okay.
Once the offer is accepted, then we'll go ahead and commission the structural inspection. So that would take about probably 2-3 weeks to get the inspection
Oh,
and
okay.
get the report. And
Mhm.
from that point, if we choose to proceed, it'll be about a month to sign the contract and pay the 10% deposit, and then another month to settlement. So let's say with the inspection, maybe up to about 2.5 months, hopefully less,
Okay.
until the
Okay.
property is yours. But I'm assuming, since you still don't have the visa and the residency and a bank account, I'm assuming you'll probably need us to connect utilities for you and organize cleaners
Yes.
until you're there on a regular basis, that kind of thing. So
Yes.
just bear in mind that to connect you to utilities and put all of the services in place can potentially take up to another month.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
The
that's
house,
fine.
the
And
house
then
is yours from settlement, but it might just not be fully livable until we.
ready.
Totally ready.
Yes. And then you said we had to put a deposit of 10% of the
Correct.
price.
Yeah.
So the rest, when do we have to pay that?
When we sign the contract. So that'll be about
Oh.
a month or month and a half from when we
Oh,
submit.
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
And then
Perfect.
the rest
Okay.
of the money is due a month later on settlement.
Okay. Perfect. That makes sense. Okay.
All right. So I'll wait for
All right.
your WhatsApp message and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, perfect. Do you want me to send it right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever you want.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
let's
send it
do it
right
now.
Yeah, I can send it right now.
Feel free to. WhatsApp is where I respond the quickest. Email takes me a good while to get to. So feel free to send me WhatsApp messages any time of the day and night. I'm not gonna. My phone is silenced when I sleep. So and I'll reply whenever I'm available.
Okay, yeah, perfect. That works.
All right. Talk to you soon. Nice meeting
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Bye bye. There you have it. If you've lasted this long and listened to all of these calls, my hat's off to you. You're a real Japan real estate property enthusiast. I hope you've gained some value from these conversations. And if you have made it this far, you're probably interested enough in the sector to join us at the Japan Real Estate Summit. Spring session again in Tokyo or online via streaming is taking place Saturday and Sunday, 18th, 19th April 2026. That's coming up in just a couple of months as of the publishing of this episode. So if you know you're going to be joining us, you probably want to hop over again to our website, nippontradings.com with a double P. Check out the previous summits footage. There are a good few years worth of presentations and videos to go through there if you've never been to one. And more importantly, secure your discounted early bird tickets. Those are probably only going to be available at a discount for another week or two. Now, we can't let you go without telling you all about Yen Loans, our latest sponsor. They're a new non-bank lender offering financing to non-residents of Japan for purchases of Tokyo condominiums, soon to be expanding to other major cities as well, so definitely hit them up if you're looking to purchase in Osaka, Fukuoka, Kyoto, or any other big city too. And that's for any purpose, whether it's a holiday home, investment rental, or a combination of both, without any requirement for residency, a Japanese bank account, a Japanese corporate structure, or representative director, any of these things, and with a streamlined application process too. So reach out to them through the link in our show notes and let them know that you found them on the Japan Real Estate Podcast. And if you're quick enough to be one of the first 10 completed applications, you'll receive a 25% discount. That's 50,000 yen off the 200,000 yen application fee. To qualify, apply through the link in our show notes again, or enter the code JREYL on their website, yenloans.com. And that's it from us for this episode, folks. Huge thank you for tuning in. Please do follow and subscribe to the show if this is your first time listening, and we'd love it if you could like and even share this episode with anyone you think might find interest in it. But even more importantly, we love hearing from you. So please let us know what you thought about this episode or the podcast overall in the comments section here on our social media channels. We've got a very active Facebook group and business page, both under the name Japan Real Estate on Facebook. And that's also the name and URL of our YouTube channel if you'd like to follow us there, Japan Real Estate on YouTube as well. And we'd of course appreciate your rating or review on Spotify or on the Apple Store or wherever you're tuning in from. Hope to have you with us again. Have a great rest of the day or night ahead. Yoroshiku.